and other affiliate unions have today presented a united front at a press conference at which they declared that they are not backing down from their position, that they will return all their old members from the previous governing council of the KNUST. Government position is sharply in contrast to that. Government has stated this week that their position is that every member of this new governing council that was scheduled to be inaugurated last week Friday should be a new individual, not having anything to do with the previous council. In fact, the school was scheduled to be reopening tomorrow, and we're hearing from this press conference that will not happen. KNUST has been on lockdown and shut down for the past more than 2 weeks in the wake of violent clashes. It was scheduled to be open tomorrow. That we are learning tonight will not happen. The UTAG and its affiliate groups, supported by TEU, they've been addressing a press conference today in which they reserved some strong words for government in following government position declared as expressed by the Information Minister, Kojo Ponkruma.
It is patently clear that government has no business meddling in the representation of UTAG or any other union or association on the University Council. This is what government is refusing to understand and appreciate, and consequently has created an erroneous impression that it can pick and choose who represents UTAG or any of the unions or associations on the council. We categorically state, without any iota of apology here, that by the very act and statutes of KNUST, the representation of the unions or associations on the council is not up for discussion with government.
Well, they accuse government of meddling in internal affairs of unions.
The government claims that the legally constituted University Council had to be dissolved because of its failure to anticipate and prevent the destructive demonstration by the students. Why did the same government then populate its own 7-member interim council with as many as 5 members of the old, supposedly failed and incompetent council? Indeed, if the destructive demonstration on campus was an indication of the failure of the governing council, shall we be justified then to conclude that this country in the recent past is an indication of the failure of the present government? We expect the Honorable Minister of Information, Mr. Kojo Ponkruma, to answer these questions. Ladies and gentlemen, who is creating the conditions that are making it difficult for KNUST to resume academic work? Is it UTAG or government? We leave the answer to the better judgment of Ghanaians. Certainly, it is not UTAG or any of the unions or associations. Ladies and gentlemen, let me reiterate that the representation of UTAG and the other unions or associations on the council of KNUST is not up for discussion with government. The Act and statutes clearly state that responsibility lies within the ambit of UTAG and the other unions or associations, but not government. Therefore, government's demand that the unions or associations change their representatives is tantamount to meddling in the affairs of the unions or associations, which is unlawful and will set a bad historic precedent if allowed. UTAG KNUST would like to remind the present government that it was elected democratically in 2016. To whom much is given, much is expected.
Remember that Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II was tasked by government to lead the process of reconstituting the KNUST Council. The teachers today suggested that government, by taking this entrenched stance, is simply undermining the work of the Otumfuo-led committee, and that if Otumfuo had known, he would not have accepted to lead the process.
In the case of the recent disturbances at KNUST, rather than establishing whether indeed the grievances the students were espousing had ever come to the attention of council, government instead decided to put blame on the KNUST Governing Council in order to have an excuse to dissolve it, akin to giving a dog a bad name in order to hang it. We believe strongly that the Chancellor, Otumfuo, would not have accepted his mediation role if that precondition existed. The logical question is this new demand on the unions or associations to change their representatives on council an attempt to undermine the Otumfuo's mediation efforts? We state clearly one more time that our meeting with to resolve the impasse at the Ministry of Education on Monday, October 29, 2018, UTAG did not agree, and I repeat, did not agree that it or the other unions or associations would change their representatives on the council as part of the resolution process. This allegation by government therefore does not only constitute an untruth, but it also appears mischievous.
And today we've been hearing from the information minister, and we'll bring that to you shortly. But I've just been joined on the telephone line by Dr. Eric Opoku-Mensah, who is the national president of the University Teachers Association of Ghana. Dr. Eric Opoku-Mensah, thank you for your time here on Top Story.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
Also on the line with us is the national chairman of the Teachers and Education Workers Union, Peter Lumo. Mr. Lumo, thank you for your time here on Top Story. Hello, Mr. Lumo, do you have you on the line?
Yes, I'm on the line.
Thank you very much. Just before we go on, we've heard today, shortly after your press conference, from the information minister, who was asked a question about what you've done today. This was his response to us.
I think, as you mentioned, I think even today, UTAG KNUST had a press conference reiterating their old position, that they are of the view that they should be allowed to reinstate their old members. That's the view that they have expressed since we started this engagement. The government's position, I mentioned to you, I think last week, Monday, as I speak to you this afternoon, I don't have a brief that suggests that government's position has changed on this matter. We'll continue to engage, and we will announce the next steps in due course.
Dr. Opoku-Mensah, fundamentally, government position has not changed. They still insist you must bring new faces to the council.
Yeah, thank you. And I think that it's very important to note some development that have occurred after our meeting, our press conference today. Just after the press conference, Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II, the Chancellor of KNUST, invited UTAG, the entire union, both national and local KNUST, to Menchia Palace for some discussions on this matter. We honored the invitation, and after a lengthy discussion and a sober discussion on the matter that we are all talking about, we have decided to allow him to continue to bring a solution to this problem. I know that that was something that was agreed by government as of last week when we had the press conference. The government was going to allow Otumfuo Opoku to lead in this process. But we know that a lot of things have happened throughout the week preceding today's conference. So as a result of this sober meeting we've had with Otumfuo Osei-Tutu, and out of the respect we have for him, we have decided to not interrogate issues further and allow him to lead a resolution process. So that is what I will say for now. With respect to government's position, as you rightly asked, I will not comment on it. And I am just hoping that, just as Otumfuo has noted, we would allow him, UTAG would allow him to lead that process. So we will not interrogate any issues from government.
I just need you to clarify for me, because Otumfuo was already leading the process. So when you say you allow him to lead the process, what exactly does it mean now?
Of course, we know that Otumfuo had been asked by government to lead the process. But we know whilst he was doing that, there's other communication going on in the public space. And so far as we are concerned, there have been some interruptions in that process. But we've had a meeting in camera, and a lot of things have been discussed, which I cannot really even disclose them in public. And because of all of that have transpired today in our meeting, we have agreed as a union to allow him to lead the process. I don't want to say once more, but we have deferred, and that we are not going to comment on the issue. until we see that there's a peaceful resolution.
Just before you go, based on the agreement you have with Otumfuo,
Yes.
for parents and the students who are listening, who are anxious to know when will the school reopen, the schedule was that we're expecting that the school reopen tomorrow. Based on the conversations with the Chancellor, will the school reopen tomorrow?
That was not part of our discussion with the Chancellor in today's meeting, because certainly the decision to reopen the school should be preceded by the coming back of the council and also management, setting up to be able to deliberate on the issues and decide exactly when the school should reopen. Now, I think that once all these things have not been done, it will be very difficult to say whether the school will reopen tomorrow, because that is not even a call that UTAG can make. And I think that we need to see how the Chancellor will lead in the peaceful resolution and possibly the reconstitution of the council. And I think after that, all those processes will follow. And I think that I want to encourage all of us to be rest assured and allow the Chancellor to lead the process.
Okay.
Because we are major stakeholders. He is a major stakeholder, and he has spoken once again, and we want to respect him and allow him to do what he's been asked to do.
Are you withdrawing? Are you withdrawing the strike then, or you're still on strike on the campus of KNUST?
Well, I think that letters have been written by KNUST to National Labour Council, and all of that takes time. And so far as I'm concerned, of course, the students are not in school, and nothing is happening. So whether there's strike or not, I think is not very important now. What we are all expecting that this whole process should be expedited, so that once the council is reconstituted, management comes back. Certainly, I think that KNUST is going to, lectures on KNUST campus are going to resume work. So there shouldn't be any fear at all. I want to assure parents and all students, to pray that this whole process that has been initiated will be fast-tracked some way, somehow, and trust that everything will be resolved quickly so that the academic life can resume on KNUST campus.
Dr. Ekpoku-Mensah, thank you very much for your time. I have with me on the line the national chairman of the Teachers Education Workers Union. They have been very vociferous in this process, and the national chairman is with me on the line. Mr. Lumo, from what I hear, Teu, and you go beyond this lectures. You are the teachers, the Tertiary Education Workers Union. Are you still on strike on the KNUST campus? But just to clear that.
We are the Teachers and Educational Workers Union, not tertiary education.
Yes, Teachers Education Workers Union. Yeah, pardon me. Are you still on strike on KNUST campus?
Well, is it a strike or?
Yes, it's the strike by your members on the KNUST campus. Is that still on?
Some agitation.
Yes.
Hello?
Sorry, I missed you there. I was asking whether your members, they've been on strike since it started. Are they still on strike, though, as of tonight?
To the best of my knowledge, yes, the agitation is still on.
And in the wake of what has happened today, as we've just been hearing from UTAG, they've met Otumfuo again. They seem to have some understanding. They're going to let him lead the process. Do you have that same understanding?
Yes. Last week, Monday, when you interviewed me, I believe strongly that government and the people of Ghana should give the Otumfuo the opportunity to resolve this problem. I believe that Otumfuo, as the Chancellor, can solve this matter within a day.
So and let me ask you the same question. Within a day, you believe he can solve it. But then we are running into tomorrow when we were told to expect that the school will reopen. You believe this, and with what has been agreed today with Otumfuo?
The situation on the ground is not stable. There's no council in place. Government's position is old council members should not be there. It means that the Vice Chancellor, what is his position? He will not be in council. UTAG, GAWA, FUSAG, TEU, on KNUST campus, even the SRC, all have issues. And so the grounds to open tomorrow, it's not there. It's not there. I pray that this country, we have a lot of elderly statesmen. We have old vice chancellors. I will not mention their names. Even there's a member of the Council of State, Senior Samoku Jetu. He had served on University of Ghana Council before. I believe that all these people should come around. Let's allow Otumfuo to solve this problem. It's a problem that can be solved. School will resume. Parents will be happy. Students will be happy. They will be happy. UTAG will be happy. Gawa will be happy. FUSAG will be happy. And all of us will give glory to God.
Well, let's see how this pans out. Nana Otumfuo again has assured he would take responsibility for this. In Parliament today, the members of Parliament debated it. A statement was read, and a few of them spoke about it. What generally was the position, Gapo?
They're asking that as soon as possible, government and the various parties should ensure that the school is reopened and that the interests of the students are prioritized. They think that, for example, the information minister shouldn't have put out the details and done the criticism, and that they should have resolved the issues backroom. Listen to Muntakamu Barak and Okujoto Ablakwa comment on the issue on the floor.
This week, I heard the Minister for Information speaking, and I was worried because I thought that whatever issues there was, they needed to keep it in and deal with it. Because coming out to speak will also allow the others to start speaking. Then now we are having contradictory information and then the confusion. I want to plead with government, UTAG, and all those factions involved. Let's put the interest of the student ahead of whatever we are doing. Because if I'm to elect someone to go or nominate somebody to go, let me do that. Let you do what you have to do. Let's come together and try to resolve this very important thing. Because the longer we allow the students to stay, the more distractions we'll be doing to KNUST as a school. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that when it became necessary for the curfew to be imposed,
unfortunately, it does appear that there are entrenched positions, and there is also the view that some encroachments are taking place where, the key stakeholder government is not comfortable with the reps of these institutions. I think that all sides will have to be interested in how quickly we can reopen this university.
I hear some members of Parliament there talking about the impasse at the KNUST. Tomorrow is supposed to be the date for reopening, but as you're hearing, it seems that will not happen. Now that Otumfuo has called another meeting and there's some sort of agreement that he will take charge and lead. Let's see if he's able to solve this standoff, which has become a full-blown issue threatening the school's reopening further. This has been Top Story. I want to cross over now to IDEC House, where there's a launch of the advocacy document on the case for multi-party local governance in Ghana. We go live now to IDEC.
Joy 99.7 FM.
This document has in it, all the information that you need to know really about multi-party local governance. The title is The Case for Multi-Party Local Governance in Ghana. So the document makes the case for that. And as we speak to the executive director, I think we'll get a good feel for what goes in it. I think I must mention also that the former Indian High Commissioner is here with us, Mr. and Mrs. Gupta, Second Secretary. Thank you for coming. You're welcome.